So my first question, a lot of your projects have themes behind them, whether it's sonically alone or as a tribute to someone, and North continues that trend. How did you come up with the theme of the album?
Oh man, it really didn't start until it first started when I just wanted to make an album, and the theme kind of came along as I was making beats for an album that I didn't have a name for or a theme for. I think I had about 20 to 30 beats done for an album. And then it finally came to me. I got the idea from my previous EP titled Trust Me. And that was about a journey as well. And then I wanted to continue that journey, but show my growth, how I became as a person, how I became as an artist as well. And North is a continuation of Trust Me. And actually there's a song called Trust Me in North, and that's dedicated. That song is pretty much about my last album, what kind of emotions I can round up. So after I figured out my theme and the story behind my album, I had to go back and take all those beats I made for that album and kind of reconstruct them, kind of throw a lot of it away and kind of retune my sound for North. So a lot of chopping up, a lot of getting rid of stuff, and a lot of fine-tuning stuff. So it's worth it, but that's how I came up with the theme.
That's brilliant. And you also knocked out my fourth question, which was, speaking of Trust Me, there's a track on North that shares the same name of the EP. Was that intended as a throwback? So yeah, brilliant. Given the layered meanings to the album's title, which song holds the most meaning for you?
Oh man, it's between She Yells and probably Here With Me. When I made She Yells, I have to say She Yells, but I'll explain both of them. She Yells is kind of really silly. That's the first song I made for the album. It's really pretty much about women. That day I had an argument with my mom, my girlfriend, and my grandmother. Yeah. That day, I'm not some annoying guy, or I'm not just a problem starter. It's just for some reason that day I had an argument with all three of them.
Yeah.
After that, I sat down and I was like, man, why? And I came to think about it. I was like, just women really care about men and their men in their life, and they want you to do good, and they're yelling for the good. They're not just yelling at you. And I was like, man, I gotta make a song about this, So I found this sample from A. Marie, and it was just so annoying. I wanted to chop the voice up, and make it kind of annoying, but kind of not too annoying. But when you listen to the track, the vocal chops get repetitive, super repetitive. But I guess hopefully people can bear it. But that kind of resembles argument when women are talking to men. It's just blah blah blah, and it's just But that's what the song came from.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I fully get what you mean with the track as well. Especially the ending and the way it's yeah. That was a really bad impression. Don't count that as anything towards your song, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, that song is pretty much. It's funny how it came up, but Here With Me, that song is pretty much about a person that you miss, that you remember, someone you never met, and you feel like you have missed someone you never met before. This is pretty much about missing someone in a happy kind of emotion, though. Sometimes when you miss someone, you're always sad, but you can find things that happen while you're there or while you're away from that person that remind them of you, so it's kind of like they're with you. Yeah. So it feels like they're here with you or here with me. That's the name of it. So that's where that came from.
Yeah, that's brilliant, man. On Trust Me and now North, you've made a habit of featuring Hebrew on the self-designed artwork. What's the relationship between you and the language?
Oh man, I'll just say this: Hebrew is one of the earliest languages and scripts developed, and I feel like that has a lot to do with my upbringing and my spirituality, and I feel Hebrew speaks the best because I feel like it's hard to decode Hebrew because it's not Latin, and most of the world speaks a Latin-based language or some Sanskrit language that it's like Indian or what have you. And Hebrew is really like, I don't know, it's a beautiful language in the way it looks as well, and I feel it speaks well with my artwork and connecting the spirituality with it, because I want my listeners to have some spiritual connection with it, not just beats and you're enjoying it, but I actually want them to look for something else more than just a good beat. And some people, they don't really notice it. Some people do notice it and they get interested and try to figure out what it's about. I don't really bring it up to people unless they really want to know about it. But if you have a question about it, if you're really interested, I'll obviously bring it forth. And just Hebrew is beautiful, man. So that's why I put it. And Trust Me is on the album I put it on there. The same reason why I put it on the North.
Cool, man. So I think this is going to be off the rec. This is the personal question as a fan. So the Hebrew on North stands for glory, right?
Yeah.
What's the Hebrew on Trust Me? Is it Trust or?
Trust Me, the album.
Oh, so it's actually Trust Me in Hebrew?
No, it actually says Sabbath.
I see. Okay. Can we expect that sort of Hebrew theme to continue then?
Yeah, I actually got some ideas bubbling up for closing EP or LP.
Yeah.
For this storyline. You can always expect some in my true work. Aside from Da Harsinya and Otra Vez EP and like just stuff that I just experiment with. Give me 1 second. Someone's calling my name.
Oh, that's fine, man.
Yeah, I will. Okay. All right. I'm around my family. I'm like, I had to run to like a secluded place, man.
Yeah. They're in the closet trying to bang out an interview.
Yeah. That's funny. It's cool though. It's all love.
No, of course.
But what I was saying is that for my third EP, what was that? We're talking about You
were talking about the prospects of a closing EP.
For closing EP. Yeah, I'm gonna continue that, and you can always, like I said, you can always expect some type of spiritual connection in my music. When it comes to my true work, instead of like, I do have my work where I just experiment a lot with other sounds, but my true work is it will have that connection, that spiritual connection. So
that's brilliant, man. Again, this is another off the record question coming from a spiritual guy himself. Like, what is your spiritual upbringing?
Oh man, I grew up Christian. No particular denomination. I just grew up to know. I grew up to know and love a higher power, and grew up to always stay humble.
Yeah.
And to be a giving person. And just be a person that is always about bettering themselves and connecting with others that are about bettering themselves. So you're just being around people that can help you as well. So
I definitely get that from the descriptions you have for your album, especially Trust Me and North, like when you're talking about the ultimate meaning being a higher power and so forth.
Yeah,
man, that's beautiful. Like, it's a beautiful thing to have a relationship with God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, that was off the record. I'm sorry.
I've
never done an interview before, and I'm just a fan. So Cool. My next question is you've been talking about North since mid last year. How long has the project been in the works, and how did your approach differ from past releases, with this being your first official LP?
I started working on it last year. I have to say last year, April or May. Wow. I started out making that. The process of making that, I wasn't sure if I wanted to start an LP because I was intimidated by the length and just the approach of it was. I was a bit confused at that moment. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I just started making beats and started decide that would sound like this sounds like album stuff, or this sounds like just some beats I can play at a show, or this sounds like something that could become a remix. So I was sorting beats. I didn't really have any direction. So as I started like making beats, I would kind of like kind of like a spaghetti strainer. I would let all of it fall. I let all of my emotions fall, all of my beats fall through, and then sort them out. So I would come up after sorting out. I would come up with like EPs like Da Hacienda and EPs like Otra Vez. Then I would do like cleaning up, and then I'll find myself with extra beats laying around. Like, hey, what kind of story can I tell with this? And I would furthermore go into the process of making more beats and sifting them out. I would say.
Yeah, separating the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, so that's the process of that. And like I said before, after I had enough beats to kind of sit on that, then came with an idea. And then I think that process works for me because I don't have to hold myself back. And because I feel like if you come out with an idea immediately, you're like strict on yourself and you're strict, like, you're holding back already. And I feel that's a bad way to work. It's kind of like, it's making beats like studying, or reading a book rather. Some people, they like to read the book, they like to get to the point, jump through chapters. Some may skim. I like to read everything, kind of, in a beat sense. I like to read everything, and then what was the book about now, and then reread it. So instead of just reading through and like kind of just being done with it. So that's the process of me making the album. It's just sifting and weaving.
Yeah, for sure, man. Did your mum play keys on the album in the end?
Yeah, she played. I actually put her name is Tracy. I actually put her on this track with Taku. We recorded that. It was crazy. She has a keyboard in her room, and I was over her house. And we had downtime. And I showed her the chords I had. She was like, I can add some stuff to this.
Yeah.
So I just brought my computer to her room and connected to the MIDI, and she was just going off at the end of it, and that was that. I always wanted her to be on a song because she used to make beats back in like the 80s and early 90s actually. Yeah, and there's not a lot of women actually today doing that. So yeah, she's always been in creating it. So I think that's where I get it from. So I feel like she deserves this spotlight and deserves this chance to actually be on a formal album, So
yeah, that's brilliant, man. It must be so cool to have like your parent on your official release work. You know what I mean? Like thousands of people that listening to you, listening to your heritage. Like,
yeah, I know.
It's weird in an awesome way. Yeah. What was I gonna say? So North marks your first release with a number of collaborators, because obviously you have the stuff with like Sebastian and so forth. What was the process like working with fellow producers like Atu, Taku, and Deepak that share a mutual respect with you?
Oh man, it's like having a good conversation with someone you already know. So it kind of comes natural. We already have talks about, hey man, we should do this and do that and do this and do that. And as we talk, you look up and you're like, oh, we already have beats together. How about can I use this? Can I use that? Because Deepak, we have a song on his upcoming, I don't know if it's an EP or an LP.
Yeah.
I think it'll be EP, but he's gonna be releasing with Soulection as well. And we have a song together on his album, and Atu, obviously, we had a collab on his album, his past album, Pictures of Silence, and on my album, I have a collab with Atu and Deepak. And it's kind of natural. Some collabs are kind of forced, I might say, but none were forced on my album. But I do have collabs in the past where it feels a bit forced. It's still good music, but it didn't feel as natural as these on North.
Yeah.
Working with Jameson was amazing, because the way he reached out to me was just pure. Just we're both fan of each other's music, so it just worked well. And so collabing on this album, I think there's more collab work than just solo work on this album, and I feel it goes along with the story of actually having being around people and having help and become a better person. Because I feel like people, they want to just do it alone, and when you do it alone, it's still good work, but when you're with someone, you have so many ideas going, so it makes a better project.
Interdependency is the way forward, right? So yeah, like you basically led into my next question. Similarly, how does the process of working with samples compare to working with vocalists like Bria, Jameson, and Spazzy Rocket that you can direct more?
Yeah, man.
It is Spazzy Rocket, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, Spazzy Rocket. Some people say his name terrible.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of those names where they take out the vowels.
Yeah, they're Space Rocket or
a lot of those names are kind of interesting. But working with samples, and working with samples is, first of all, when you're working with samples, you're like, man, can I use this? So that goes on in my mind, and it still comes out as good work, but you still don't feel as original as you could be. But working with the vocalist, to the Spazzy Rocket and those guys, it came out perfect, because you feel good about it, because these are people you know. You're part of this creation. You're not borrowing or using other people's work in the past, and you feel better about it. You know, like it's a better feeling knowing that this is all your work. Like I mentioned to myself. I was talking to my brother the other day, and I was telling him, I'm so glad Affection has no samples in it. Well, it has samples in the background, with actual music, but not the vocal chops.
Yeah,
because that's a good song.
Agreed. 1,000%.
It's a good song because I don't say it because it's mine, but I say it because Jameson did his thing on it. The song wouldn't be nothing. It would just be instrumental, honestly, if he wasn't on it. But Spazzy Rocket as well, man, and he's one of my favorites to work with, because he and I have similar mindsets, and we're spiritually connected, as well as being musically connected. And working with him is amazing. And actually, Middle Things, that song came out, that song happened, was kind of like, we both needed to get out emotions. So I gave him a beat, and he gave me vocals to go along with that track. I didn't even give him a direction on what I wanted. I just gave him the track. He even kept the name of the beat that I sent him, because I name my beats. I really don't give thought into it that much. I just name them and give it a go. And I guess the name of that beat kind of sat well with him, and he made a song out of it. So that was great.
That's amazing, right? Because I remember he must have dropped it on his SoundCloud or something, and then you reposted it before North came out. Like, it was just a single, and I was like, oh, this sounds really dope. And then and then it was on North, and I was like, damn, man, like, this is such a good choice. Like, it fits so well within the album, and standalone, it fits so well as well. And then I was on his Twitter, and I realized that, like, it's actually a song about Jesus being right there in the middle. You know, it's just like that kind of interconnection. You can't really like make up. You know what I mean? It's just
it's just happened. Yeah.
And so just to check, was Bria the vocal on the song?
Yeah, Bria was a vocal on the song. The way she works is the most. I've never seen anything like the way she works.
Yeah.
She's an artist, but mainly, you go on her SoundCloud, man. It's just songs that she's featured on. So she's. Yeah, I'll send you. I'll send you a link on the Skype.
Yeah.
But working with her, I actually met her through Deepat, and Deepat was working with her. And the way she works is she gives the producer a zip file of her vocals, and you get to pick and choose and So it's like,
wow.
Yeah, it's like acapellas, like a dream. Because like most producers, they look for like when they chop up acapellas. That's like a new thing. It's like a trend. They chop up acapellas, but they get the like acapella and they don't feel like chopping it up, and it takes time. But what she does is she gives you like bits, like 12-second chops or even like 3-second chops. That's just her saying oohs and ahs, and it's just long. It's a long list, and she even told me I have more if you need more. I'm like, wow, this is a lot already. So you can make songs and songs out of her chops and out of her like little like 13-12-second like choruses, and that's how she works. So I want to do more with her. So
please do, man. Like all of you is like when it just starts and then you just hear like there's no lyrics at the beginning at all. It's just like vocal crooning, you know. It's just like such a soothing sound. And you have an exceptional talent to exploit these things. I mean, the same goes with No One Else. Like that is an elite sample that everyone uses, you know. But you took it, and this is personally it's one of my favorite tracks on the album. And like the way you just spun it, and you took even like I don't know, you took your synthy stuff from like Also Tracy and like when you were like in your early days. And you also took your kind of trap stuff from Otra Vez and even stuff like Vem and like that kind of sound, and you put it all into one. So it's almost like, for me, the quintessential Sango like sound. It's like I play that song first when I'm introducing you to people now that know this album. But yeah, like it's just you have a wonderful knack of exploiting what you're given and even directing in I don't know, in like to be ahead of what you're given, if that makes sense.
Thank you, man.
No, man. Like I said, I'm just a fan. It's weird because about a year ago was the first time I listened to Also Tracy, and that was my gateway into Soulection. So that's how I actually like got into the whole team, and like I'm a fan. Anyway,
Hey, these questions are awesome, man. Because like usually I get interview questions, and they're just like, I mean, they're typical questions, and they're like. They're not really about
always generic.
Like where are you from, or how's your upbringing, and
where did your name come from? Is it Inuyasha?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, man, you're like the best interviewer ever. Like,
dude. Don't say that, man.
You need to get
first interview.
you need to like keep this formula going, like 'cause like I feel like your formula is like really personal. It's really personal, and it's not like it's not really like you're not stepping on any toes as well.
It's not robotic at all, I hope. It's weird because like I'm moving to Japan in 4 days, so this is like the last thing I'm doing for soul culture before I go.
How's your Japanese?
I'm working on it, man. Like I've been learning for about a month, and it's doing pretty well. So yeah, I'm working on it. Say that again. Okay, I don't know that much. I mean, I'm teaching high school kids, so I just need to know like Hajime Mashite, Watashi wa Shon desu.
Yeah.
So forth, yeah. But Tiffany knows quite a bit as well because she learned as a kid.
Genki desu ka?
Genki desu ka? Yeah. Cool. Speaking of vocalists, you also worked with your Ego brethren on the album, including
ATO. Yeah, we need to like, man, we kind of like laughed about it. We need to like put periods between the letters.
I always thought it was ago. It was like kind of like ago, you know, like I don't know.
Like
cool. I know now. Anyway, I am gonna try and make that clear in my interview when I write it up. Speaking of vocalists, you also worked with your AGO brethren on the album, including Waldo, whose Pick Your Own Poison project you produced entirely. What's next for the AGO team?
Man, for AGO, we're trying to build a brand outside of ourselves. When I say that, I mean I'm associated with AG. I'm associated with Soulection. I'm also associated with Soulection. A few of the guys off of the team, I might say Julian is on the team. Seventh and Amos is on the team as well. And those guys they're venturing off in their own things, and we want to like kind of like you know how Drake has his OVO, but he's a part of Young Money or
there's overlap.
So we're trying to do that, more of a movement and a sound rather than a record label. It could be a record label one day, but we're just trying to like finally. Our next plan is come out with something that people can see us as together, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talented guys in the group. Julian is a rapper and a singer and a producer. You guys already know Waldo. The seventh, he's a producer as well and a rapper. And Amos is a rapper as well. All these guys are from Michigan. So I met these guys when I moved to Michigan as well. So it kind of happened. I'm glad I met these people because I would have been alone making music if I didn't find them. So
cool. I've got one question that follows on from that, but just quickly, off the cuff again. Did you meet Atu at Uni of Michigan, or was that?
Atu is originally from. Is it from Belgium? He's from Belgium. He's African. He's born in Africa. And he lived in Belgium, and he went to school. He goes to school now in Michigan, University of Michigan.
Yeah.
Which means he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
But because that's a very prestigious school here in Michigan. But I met him on the internet. He actually tweeted me, and he was like, a lot of us I think I met everyone that I'm associated with as far as beat makers on the internet, which is crazy. I mean, the internet is like insane nowadays.
For sure.
But even down to my manager, I met him on the internet. It's crazy.
Wait.
Yeah. But I met Atu on the internet, and he tweeted me. He was like, man, I love your weekend remixes. You kill it. And I was like, okay, it's cool. You know, I looked at it, and I looked at his Twitter. I was like, who's this guy? And I looked at his SoundCloud. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, who's hiding this guy? Where have you been?
Yeah.
Like, immediately I showed him the Joe K, who is a co-founder of Collection. Yeah, and everything I find, I send to him, and he listens to it like immediately because he knows what I'm gonna send to him is not gonna be music. It's gonna be good music. And from then and there, Atu. Let me just say this: Atu was gonna be. He was gonna be. What is it? A superstar, I should say. I don't know, lack of a better word. He's gonna be a superstar from the get-go. He was destined. It was just, I guess, we came across him. We were one of the first people to come across him and show what we can to the world. Show.
For sure.
Yeah.
Pictures in Silence is just
classic.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them ones where you actually don't know how to describe it because it's something you're so not used to. And it feels like he has that kind of way about him, especially with the recent track that he dropped off as an extra. Like it just continues the same kind of speechless kind of sound when you're hearing the way he messes around with vocals.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, so you were talking about how you introduced him to Joe K, and if I'm right, that's what you did with Waldo as well. Today, I think you posted on Facebook a link to the cover of his next EP. Can you tell us more about that?
Oh yeah, man, your questions, I might say, man, you're like top notch.
Dude,
you're not.
You're getting me up here, man. You can't do that, man.
Because not to talk again, but when I do interviews, sometimes I'm not trying to get on past interviews because some past interviews have been awesome.
Yeah. Like
I recently had this interview with Bandcamp, and that was a great one.
I'm sure it would be. They're top notch as well.
Yeah, but the way you can't come at these questions, man. They're just so organic, and they're so these are questions I want to talk about. These aren't. These are things I want to talk about. I would love to share it with people. But Inside, that's how it's pronounced. Another title without vowels. Yeah. I guess without the E. Well, there's an E at the end of it, but who cares? Inside, all those EP is coming out. This guy, man, he's next. I wanna push him out there, man. Continue to push him out there. And this EP is two-part. It's a part of a two-part EP. It's the first part is Inside, and the second part is Outside. And it's really simple. It's really pretty much about his emotions and what he's experienced inside. He wants to tell the world what he's feeling inside. And Outside is pretty much about how he's affected outside, and he wants to tell people how they affect him as an artist. So it's an interesting topic. The way he bounced around with his ideas, and it's gonna be a long. It's the first part of the EP is gonna be it's gonna be longer than Pick Your Own Poison. So there's more tracks. There's 11 tracks. So that's coming out. There's no release date.
Yeah.
But that's coming out soon. So
looking forward to it, man. Very much so. Pick Your Own Poison, like, I don't know. I've not heard that many songs that you produced as far as like with rappers, unless they like rapping over on your instrumentals. But yeah, it was special, man. It definitely felt like another kind of spiritual connection between a rapper and a producer, and it just worked so cohesively, even as a product as well. Like, I don't know, you guys are special, man. But yeah, in a previous interview, you listed Drake, The Weeknd, and Lil Dragon as artists that you would love to collaborate with. Can you name some more since then?
Oh man, Sango. I love his voice. The dude's like amazing.
Yeah.
I would love to work with Jessie Ware as well. She's awesome. And I don't know if I said this in my last interview, but I said Sade. That's like a dream collaboration that probably will never happen.
Yeah, you never know, man. A lot of selection guys are going at that.
Yeah. But I would love to work with Sampha. That would be awesome, man.
Yeah. He dropped his dual EP a couple days ago, right? I haven't actually heard it yet.
Me neither. I need
to cop that. I need to cop that. I've seen Subtract live, but he wasn't there, and I'm gutted. So yeah, I've got to make that happen. Cool. With the North already receiving heavy praise from a number of blogs, artists, and influential figures in music, including the likes of Giles Peterson, what direction do you plan to go from here?
I haven't thought about it yet, man. I haven't properly thought about it, I'd just say. I mean, I've had ideas. I mean, some of the ideas I would say is kind of like focusing more on AGO, you know?
Yeah.
Or just working with producing for actual people in the industry. Just working on getting my sound out there in that way. Working with singers and art and other producers as well. That's pretty much some ideas I had. Just working with other people.
Cool, man. That's awesome. That is the interview, yeah. Sweet. Yeah. Thank you so much, man. Like that.
Yeah, man.
That was great.